Hello,
Hi.
how are you today?
Pretty good. A little bit nervous.
A little nervous, that makes sense. First meeting and all, I can understand that. Well, my name's Taylor. I'll be your social worker, just kind of talking to you today about the process and all the things we need to kind of go over just to kind of get to know each other. What is your name?
Marcella Garcia.
Marcella Garcia. Do you go by any nicknames?
Marcy.
Marcy. Is it okay if I call you Marcy, or would you rather me call you Marcella?
That's up to you.
Got it. So I did kind of look at your file beforehand, and I kind of gauged that the initial purpose of this interview would be to kind of look at just some identity development and resocialization and social control, and we can kind of look more into those and
What does that
decide.
mean?
Well, identity development just kind of means we're going to look at some goals that you would like to set for yourself and some steps that you can take to identify.
Definitely getting off drugs.
Yes, I could see why that would be number one. Resocialization is just to kind of pretty much to stop any deviant behaviors and get back into the flow of normal society, which of course changes from person to person, but pretty much just to end deviant behaviors. And then social control is just kind of learning to control how you act with things. So like learning how to overcome addiction and working with addiction, kind of like that.
Would it help me get a job?
It could help you get a job. Yeah, we could definitely identify a goal of yours as getting a job, getting back in the workforce. Be a great idea. So let's see. I want you to know that you can feel free to ask any questions along the journey. If you're confused about anything, you're always free to ask me or anyone here. You can tell me whatever you want. You don't have to tell me anything that you don't want to tell me. It's kind of a free environment. You're safe here. We're just here to talk, kind of get an idea of what's happening. I do want to go over some of the paperwork with you. So I do need your informed consent. So we have to tell you everything that we can, and we just want you to be aware of the process and what's happening, and we want to make sure that you're okay with that. I also am a mandatory reporter, so you can tell me whatever you want, and to go with confidentiality, I'm not going to just tell anyone in the street. I mean, that's against the law. There are HIPAA rules that we have in place, but if you tell me that you want to hurt yourself or anyone else, I do have to report that, and it's very important to me that you know that. So I don't want you to be mad at me if you tell me that and I have to tell someone. Do you have any questions or comments so far?
No.
All right. I just want to sign right here. Just kind of saying that we went over it. All right. So tell me a little bit about your story. Who are you?
Well, I'm Marcella Garcia. I'm 21. I'm mixed. And, well, my parents kicked me out for being bisexual.
Hmm.
I had my first encounter when I was about 14, I think. My dad he suspected me of being gay, so he kicked me out. My mom just kind of went with him. My sister, she kind of talks to me but doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Well, so since I was kicked out, I had to figure out a way to live somewhere and make money. So I started to have sex for money, and I've just been doing that ever since. And of course, what comes with sex and money comes drugs. So it just kind of got out of hand. But right now, I'm just living with friends in my gay community.
So you were kicked out at 14?
Yeah.
So how often would you say you talk to your sister?
Probably like once a month, every 2 months. She just kind of asks where I'm at to figure out if something happens, if I'm alive.
Yeah. With your friends, do you like pay rent there, or are they just letting you stay there for a little while, or?
Yeah, they let me stay there for a little while, but I haven't really had to pay anything yet. I just kind of help out with food or whatever. But they understand the situation because I'm still pretty young. They're a lot older.
Yeah. What would you say is your drug of choice?
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Okay. Is that the only drug you've ever tried?
No, I've also tried methamphetamines and marijuana, coke.
Do you do all of those currently, or are you just kind of sticking to one?
Mostly crack and weed.
Got it. If you had to identify your biggest problems, how would you prioritize those?
Definitely the drug use. It's getting out of hand, and I have some legal charges against me about the bounce checks, so definitely getting money for that because I really don't want to go to jail.
Yeah. Alright. Do you work currently? Besides, okay,
I couldn't pass a drug test,
that makes sense.
and I don't have transportation.
Transportation, you could definitely work on that. So it sounds like your biggest issues would be your drug use and your legal issues with the bounce checks. Which, can you tell me a little bit more about those, like how that became a problem?
Well, whenever I was living with my parents, we had a bank account for me, and I took the checks for them, and I've been writing off it for like motels and food and things like that. And it's bounced, so.
Alright. It sounds like another issue you might be having is living with a friend, like living with friends is not very reliable, and work and transportation, passing a drug test. How does this make you feel? How do you feel about yourself right now?
Pretty disgusting.
Yeah. Would you say that you are safe in your day-to-day life, or do you feel safe anywhere?
No,
I'm not feeling very
a
safe.
lot of the men that I've had to have sex with are abusive and very controlling, unsafe.
So that sounds like something we should work on. Alright, so you said that the first place you want to focus on is your drug use.
Mm-hmm.
I think the inpatient program would be a really good place for you then. Let's see, what would you say are some of your biggest strengths? It sounds like you're very resilient. You've been able to live on your own. I mean, getting kicked out at 14 would not be easy, and I don't think that everyone would be able to survive that. What other strengths would you identify?
I definitely have a good toll in the gay community. I think I'm pretty good at budgeting, making very little money last.
Yeah, would you say you have good relationships in the gay community? People you can trust?
Mm-hmm. They're what's keeping me alive.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So tell me about the relationship between you and your parents.
It's not very good. They kicked me out when I was 14. They were also drug addicts, so I kind of grew up around drugs and had pretty easy access to them. My dad's dead from liver cancer, and my mother, I haven't seen her in like 7 years because she just kind of followed with my dad with kicking me out.
Yeah.
But they were pretty emotionally abusive and physically abusive.
Yeah.
Because the drugs.
Yeah. Does your mom still live here in Springfield?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she's not very far. Just haven't talked to her in a long time.
I wouldn't want to talk to her unless I'm clean.
Yeah. Do you know if she's still clean?
I don't know. I haven't talked or seen her in 7 years.
Yeah. So.
And my sister doesn't really tell me anything.
When did you first start using drugs?
I was 16 when I first started doing weed. And then as I got more into the sexual activities, I started doing amphetamines and coke at 19. And here recently, I started crack because of a recent girlfriend.
Do you ever drink at all?
Yeah, I started drinking when I was 14.
Alright. And so you said you were abused as a child. Do you still feel like you're abused?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had many abusive relationships. Whenever I don't want to have sex with them, they do. They get abusive.
You said the majority of time you spend with these clients, you're at like hotels, or
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you also said that Your father, he assumed that you were gay, but you're actually bisexual?
Mhm.
Okay.
He caught me with a girl one day.
And that was around the, like, last time you saw him, you haven't seen him since he passed?
My sister called me and told me.
Does your sister also live here in Springfield?
Yes.
Okay. So, here's the application for the inpatient program. I'm just going to kind of let you look over that while I explain to you kind of what you'd be doing. It is a very personalized plan, so all the things that you identified as issues, the most important being your drug abuse and your legal issues with the bounce checks, we would start working on those first in the order that you want to prioritize them. After talking to you, I feel like the strengths that we identified, like your resilience and the friends you have in the gay community, as well as your good budgeting skills, I think we could use all of those here in this program. Your resilience, especially because it sounds kind of like you have a lot that you would like to work on, and that's totally fine. It's just going to take a lot of effort from you and trusting the process and yourself. So I do think that would be helpful in the program. You would be staying here for 12 weeks.
At the hospital?
Yes, at the hospital. You would have your own room, and you would kind of work every day with different nurses and social workers, and we'll get you kind of hooked up to different programs. All right, so do you have any questions?
I don't know who to put for an emergency contact.
Well, do you feel that you can most rely on your sister or the friends that you have made in the gay community? Whoever you feel like is going to be there for you when you need them.
Brittany's let me live with her the longest.
Okay. And you guys are in a good place in your relationship right now?
She helped me find this thing.
Is she clean?
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Okay, then yeah, I would go ahead and put her if you feel like she is the best person for that. And do you have a good phone number that we can contact you at?
I have a prepaid phone that my sugar daddy pays for.
Okay. Do you feel like that's reliable? Like, are you still going to be able to put minutes on there even though you're going to be in here?
I don't know. I think he put some on there for me.
Okay, go ahead and put it anyway. And we'll just